Hello, everyone. Welcome to AAPI educational webinar series about investment, estate, and tax planning for physicians. This educational event is hosted by AAPI, and attendees should consult their own advisors and attorneys for any advice. This is one of our last events with Mr. Syed Nishat, who we thank for organizing such great webinars for us this whole year. API's goal is to educate its members about the importance of financial planning and becoming financially independent. API does not get paid for this webinar. We are doing it purely for the benefit of all our members. We have Mr. Syed Nishat with us. Nishat is a fiduciary financial advisor and partner at the Wall Street Alliance Group. His articles and interviews about asset protection and common financial mistakes by physicians are published in MedPage Today and Medscape. He is regularly quoted and interviewed in media outlets like Forbes, Kevin MD, US News, Investment News, and Yahoo Finance. We would like to make it very audience interactive, not a long, boring presentation. I would like to ask questions, and Nishat, if you could please kindly answer them. You can ask your questions as well in the chat box. Again, please ask your questions in the chat box, and we will try to answer them. Nishat, once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for the webinar.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So we've had 3 webinars with Mr. Nishat before. We did tax planning, asset protection, and the last one was investment planning. This is a short webinar that addresses the issue of estate taxes, which is very important for all the physicians. The current federal estate tax exemption sunsets in year 2025, meaning if the Congress doesn't act, the current estate tax exemption amounts will be cut off in half. A decrease in the exemption amount could result in significant additional transfer taxes for families with federally taxable estates. So I would like to welcome Mr. Nishant, and should I go ahead and start the questions, or do you want to just say a few words?
No, thank you very much, Dr. Samadar. We did actually almost 3 webinars. This is the 4th webinar, and hopefully it's a short one. And audience can listen to other webinars. Is published for free. We did investment planning, state planning, tax planning, and this is, I think, the last webinar. Hopefully, continue to do it with the next president. But I really appreciate you and Dr. Sumal Rawal to come up with the idea to help the audience for the AAPI members. So I hope they liked it so far. But the recording will be available, and we'll be emailing it to them as well. So thank you very much for doing everything what you do.
Thank you. So the first question is, can you please explain what estate tax is, how does it work, and what are changes coming in estate taxes?
Yeah, sure. So I think estate planning, the previous webinars, Dr. Samadar, we spoke about the importance of will, trust, the basic stuff. Today's topic is advanced a little bit. Today's topic is how to save money in estate taxes. So what does it mean? And I'm sharing my slide. Hopefully the audience can see it. In America, there's something called income tax, and then there's something called a death tax. So the death tax is that if your net worth as of right now is more than 27 million, inflation adjusted, husband, wife both pass away. If your net worth is almost more than 27 million, you have to worry about paying 40% state tax. Again, as of right now, if your net worth, husband, wife all together, around 27 million, you have to worry about paying almost about 40% to 45% state tax. That is changing. Let me see if Dr. Samadar is still there.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Sure. And that is changing next year, expiring 2025. So what's happening that the law exemption is going back to the level previously, which is 6.5 million per person. So basically, it's going to become 13 million from the year 2025. So again, it is expiring. So you might be thinking, okay, what's the big deal about it? It is a big deal. I'm just giving an example that, let's say, for example, if your net worth, I'm showing an example here, around close to $12 million, a single person. And if the law change, as of right now, there's no estate taxes, but if the law change next year, comes down to 6 million, 40% of that, we're talking about 2 million estate taxes due for single person. And that will become almost half, in 2025. So what our suggestion is, before the law change, it is not uncommon for physician to have those who are in the retiree, who are in their 60s, this net worth around, in the vicinity of 15 million is not uncommon. So before the law change, if you gift the assets out of your state, it grandfathers. Again, it basically grandfather is before the law change, so the money is out of your state. So let's say, for example, if you gift $5 million before the law change, this money becomes completely out of your state. So again, if your net worth is substantial, what I mean by substantial in the range of 15 million, it might be a good time to sit down with your financial advisor and see if it makes sense to give some money and put the assets out of your state.
Great. So you did mention when we should worry about estate tax planning, and you did also talk about how much should be our net worth. Do you have any other comments on that?
Yeah, so I think one of the things people ask all the time, that how much should be by net worth, at what age should I have to worry about it? That's the question. So Dr. Samadar, the way it works, that at the age of 60, you need in America around close to $6 million to have a good life. Again, at the age of 60 to 66, you need around $6 million to have a good life. How do you come up with $6 million? So 4% of 6 million, that's about close to $240,000. You get it at the age of 66. I'm giving an example. Social Security also kick in. $40,000 people get it at the age of 66, 67. So if you have a $6 million, you can have around close to 300,000 pre-tax income. And after tax, you make around $200,000. So this much money you need to have a good life. So once you accumulate this much assets, anything more than that is kind of overage. That's the way we see it. Again, if your net worth is $6 million and over, after that portion, you can think about start gifting the assets. But we have seen, Dr. Samadar, according to our experience, that we have physician, like I was talking to a client of mine just about a couple of days ago. Client was at the age of 60. The net worth about close to $15 million. Again, the net worth is about $15 million, and the client is still working. And the client was earning about $250,000 per year. You can see the chart in from my screen. So we did an estimate that if the client continued to work for 10 years and it's a 7% growth happen, the value becomes around $33 million. Again, 15 million, the client has a net worth at the age of 60. The client saves $250,000 every year, 10 years, 7% growth happen, the value becomes $33 million. If the law doesn't change, I'm just going your projection, if the law remains the same, still there's a $4 million state tax due, because right now up to close to 26 million no state tax at the net worth of 33 million, there's a 4 million state tax due. But if the law change and it came down to 6.5 million, we're looking at a $8 million estate taxes due. So it's not a question of age, it's a question of what age, how much net worth you have. You should sit down with your financial advisor. The financial advisor should run a projection for you, and then you can estimate how much is the estate taxes that might be due. So hopefully it gives you an answer. So the right answer is that we'd like to see your net worth more than 15 million to start planning for this estate taxes.
Great. Can you please explain what is step up in cost basis? How does it work?
Yeah. So your video, Dr. Samadar, kind of pause a little bit. If you have the option to open it, that will be great. If not, I mean, people can see me hopefully.
Okay.
Um, right. I don't know if you can, open up your video.
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah. But that's fine. You can try it while I'm talking. So
Sure.
before we talk about a step up in cost basis, I think it's extremely important for physicians to understand for estate taxes because that's the key element here. Before we talk about a step up in cost basis, we have to understand what is a revocable trust, what is an irrevocable trust. In a revocable trust, when you pass away, the benefit is it's a private document and it avoids all the probate. Again, a revocable trust is a private document. If you pass away, it avoids all the process in a probate. Then there's a divorce protection. There's a creditor protection for the children after you pass away. If you give the money to a revocable trust, and another example advantage of a revocable trust is you receive something called step up in cost basis. What I mean by step up in cost basis, let's say you have shares like Apple stock. I can see you now. That's good. You have an Apple share at $100, and right now the stock is $200. You bought the stock for 100 Apple, and stock right now is $200. Once you pass away, once your children inherit the money, their cost is $200. Again, in a revocable trust or once you pass away, your assets get a step up in cost basis. The fair market value is the new cost for the heirs. So again, it's very important. It's called step up in cost basis. So you get it in a revocable trust. Irrevocable trust, Dr. Samadar, what happened? This is for gifting purpose. Not for avoid is also there to avoid probate, but this is mainly for gifting purpose. You gift the assets to your children. Like I have my two children, I want to gift it. I don't want the assets to be under their name. I want to have some sort of trust that controls it, how they're going to spend the money. That is an irrevocable trust I gifted. Irrevocable trust also avoid probate. It also protects your asset, but there's one problem. There's no step up in cost basis. So once you pass away, let's say you have Apple shares at $100, you bought it, stock is $200. Once you gift it to an irrevocable trust, the children, their cost is $100, the original cost basis. So it's a big issue though. The reason why I'm trying to explain a few times this to you, I was talking to a physician, um, just about a month ago. The client had this company called NVIDIA. I'm giving an example. NVIDIA went up so much. And the client was in the 75, 80s. And the client was very happy that he gifted to the children. By the way, the NVIDIA stocks, by the way, it went up like 1,000%. Why would you gift it? Because what happened, you lose all the step up and cost basis. If you had just passed away and the children inherit to an revocable trust, they would have gotten the step up in cost basis. Everything is, kind of tax free. So again, the step up is very important when you do the estate planning. When you gift it, make sure that you gift cash or the assets that will appreciate a lot. If it's already appreciated, you have to sit down and have to make a decision. Does it make sense or not? You cannot just blindly go ahead and gift it. So hopefully, revocable trust, irrevocable trust, and step up in cost basis kind of makes sense for the audience.
Okay. Can you please explain a few simple solutions how to move assets from your estate to the next generation?
Yeah, so before we talk about complicated trust and stuff, let me just tell you some simple without using an attorney. So every year, Dr. Samadar, I have my two children. I can gift $18,000 from my side, $18,000 from my wife's side, 36,000. Two children, $72,000. I can gift it without filing for any gift tax. It's a simple solution. This 18,000 is per person though, so the same client, just giving an example, I was talking to, and the client was, he had two kids, he had two children, spouses, and 5 grandchildren. So do the math, 7 people times 36, almost $250,000 goes every year. You can put the money out of your state. Very simple. On top of it, Dr. Samadar, there's one thing people miss. If your grandchildren, if you're old enough and your grandchildren, they are going to private school, if you pay directly to the private school, that doesn't count towards the 18,000. That is on top of it. Again, I want to let the audience sink in. It's very powerful though. So if you have a sizable state and your grandchildren going to private school, so this client of mine, the grandchildren were going to school in California, a very expensive private school. Pay directly to the school from your stable from your state, from your asset is part of your state. Pay directly from there. Don't pay from 5 to 9. From your money, pay it, and it doesn't count towards the gift tax exemption. So very powerful two solution. Number one, 18,000 is there. On top of it, if you have to pay their medical bill, pay directly to the hospital. If they're going to college, pay directly for the private college, and the money doesn't count towards the annual gift exemption. So this is a simple solution to get started.
What is the Spousal Lifetime Access Trust?
Yeah. So now we're talking about a little bit complications. All right. This is we're talking about trust that comes into play. So remember, Dr. Samadar, at the beginning, we spoke about step up in cost basis. We talked about two trusts. One is called revocable, irrevocable. Spousal lifetime access trust is a type of irrevocable trust. It is for gifting purpose. What does spousal mean? So basically, some people say that, hey, I want to gift it. I don't want to lose control over the assets. Do you have any option, any provision where I can have access to the assets as well? So spousal lifetime access trust, you can gift money. How much can you gift? 13 million each, $26 million. Again, the money is out of your state. Once you gift it, the money goes to state tax free. But as long as your spouse is alive, she can take the money out and give it to you. You can take the money out and give it to her from each other's SLAT. It's called spousal lifetime access trust. So it gives you some more control. It's an irrevocable trust. But again, the 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 con or the issue with SLAT is you lose the step up in cost basis. So again, if you have appreciated stock, you might want to think about it, if it's a good idea to do SLAT because you will lose the step up in cost basis. Hopefully it makes sense.
Great. What is the Charitable Lead Trust?
Yeah, I want to very quickly explain to the audience that those audience don't want to lose the step up in cost basis and they have a significant net worth. Let's say, for example, some other, how much is the net worth needs to be more than state taxes? More than 27 million, right? Some clients, you'll be surprised, AAPI members, physicians, they are 50 million net worth. There are people out there. What would you do at that time? Because whatever we do, there's some state taxes due. One solution could be charitable trust in a way to do it. How does it work? So basically up to 27 million, there's no state taxes, we know it. What you can do, you can gift it to the children. And after you pass away, any remainder money can go to this charitable lead trust. How does the charitable trust work? So the charitable trust, the way the process works, all the money belongs to charity. Once the money goes to the charitable trust, all the money belongs to the charity. But you don't have to give it right away. You can schedule it. What is the schedule? The usual schedule is around 5% per year. Again, the usual schedule is 5% per year. 5% per year, you give it to a charity of your choice. But in 20 years, all the money goes to charity. Again, it's a schedule, 5% per year. In 20 years, 100% goes to charity. You and I both know, Dr. Samadar, if you just buy SPY or any mutual fund, it goes up in the long run 8% per year. So any appreciation left over, whatever is left over to charity goes to your children, goes to your heirs, state tax free. Again, very powerful. If your net worth is 50 million or 30 million, whatever the amount is, the gift tax exemption is, if you don't want to lose the step up in cost basis, if you are some charity minded, one option could be up to the amount goes to your beneficiary, the rest of it goes to the charitable lead trust. Charitable lead trust designed such a way every year 5% goes to charity. After 20 years, 100% goes to charity. I get it. You can invest the money though. It will grow more than 5%. Let's say if it grows by about 8 to 9% per year, if you buy some aggressive SPY, whatever the appreciation left over goes back to the children or the grandchildren state tax free. Very powerful, high net worth individual always do it. You can do charitable lead trust, not after your death only, but also every year as well. So let's say every year, if you're charity minded, You can do about 30% of your adjusted gross income or 50% of your adjusted gross income, depending on what kind of charity you want to do it, in a charitable lead trust. And again, 20 years schedule, and this money can be out of your state as well. So again, I'm just giving you some sound bites, not like the heavy solution, but this is a good solution if you're charity minded and if your net worth is significant and if you have a lot of appreciated stock to want to gift it.
Okay. What is irrevocable life insurance trust?
Yeah. So one of the good ways to save, state taxes, have the life insurance pay for it. The second to die life insurance policy. Remember, one person die, as long as the money goes to the spouse, no state tax. Both of you needs to pass away. Husband, wife needs to pass away for the amount to be more than 27 million for the state tax to kick in. One solution could be you can buy a second to die life insurance policy. Usually it's very cheap. The ratio is, I have seen, if you put $1, they give you 4, sometimes they give $8. So let's say if you put $1 million premium, sometimes they give you 6 million. So talk to the insurance company. You have to go through underwriting process and you held. So against a second to die life insurance policy, the death benefit can pay for the state taxes that might be due. But the problem is with the life insurance, it is part of your state. What I mean by that, Dr. Samadha, let's say your net worth is 15 million. You bought a $5 million second to die life insurance policy. If you pass away, your net worth for state tax purpose would be 20 million. 15 million plus 5 million, 20 million. Solution could be you can create another irrevocable trust. It's called life insurance trust, irrevocable life insurance trust. Move the life insurance to the irrevocable trust, and that money is out of your state after 3 years. There's a 3 years waiting period. After 3 years, the money is out of your state. The death benefit is out of your state. So again, second to die life insurance policy is a good way. If your net worth is significant, physician can consider buying that.
Can you please explain what is qualified personal residence trust?
Yeah, last couple of topics. For physicians in our community, Dr. Samadar, we buy the most expensive house, right? My wife wants it. Everyone wants it. So if you have a very expensive house, like I was talking to a client, California, huge house, almost about $5 million, and the client have pretty much used all the ideas possible out there, but the 5 million house was their personal residence there. So there's something called QPRT, Qualified Personal Residence Trust. It is mainly designed for primary house and sometimes secondary house as well. The benefit is that you can design this trust in such a way that in installment basis, it's not right away. The money goes to the QPRT. You have to pay rent. You have to lease it from the QPRT, but it can be designed in such a way the residence is out of your state after 20 years, and if you don't pass away. You can do it 10 years. You can do whatever the schedule you feel comfortable. But again, because what happened, Dr. Samadar, I'm not going to go too detail into it, but the gist of it, that the discount is so much once you put the money into primary house into this QPRT, that $5 million basically for you only use about close to 800,000 to a million of your exemption, and almost $4 million can be out of your state. So extremely powerful. You can design such a way to do it. So if you own a big house, think about QPRT if it makes sense for you.
Lastly, what is IDGT?
Yeah. One last topic I put red there, Dr. Samadar, is because these are subject for IRS audit. We have seen it, at least the CPAs are telling us. So intentionally defective grantor trust, which is called IDGT. How does it work? So what happened that you are a grantor, you create like an irrevocable trust, which is the intentionally defective grantor trust. It's an irrevocable trust. Rather gifting it, you basically sell your asset to the IDGT. Again, you're selling it to the IDGT. Since you sell it, you don't own it anymore. But the IDGT, I mean, I'm just hovering my mouse, give you an installment payment because you have sell it. You have to get some payment in. That money is obviously as an income for you. You can do it again, 10 years, 5 years, however installment note you want to, but that is income for you, part of your state. You have to pay income, but a significant amount you can sell it to the IDGT, and if you pass away, since you sold it, the money is out of your state. The problem is that people is misusing this IDGT, and they are like almost selling of their state almost 10 million, 20 million, and they're getting a lot of IRS audit. So again, be careful, talk to your CPA about it if you feel comfortable, but IDGT is the last resort if you have it.
Okay, so then can you please summarize which ones to start with first?
Just to summarize, the starting point, revocable trust, you should do it just to avoid probate. Again, revocable trust just to avoid probate. Once you've done it, start with $18,000 on top of, as I mentioned there, per child, grandchild, your in-laws, start giving $18,000. Number two, pay directly for the grandchildren tuition fee, medical bills directly. That is on top of the $18,000. That doesn't count. Very powerful, no lawyers involved. Number three, after you've done it, depreciated asset, the asset like cash type or real estate type, because what happened, Dr. Samadar, once you gift real estate, you have to go to like an appraiser to valuation done. They can do something called discounting for it once you gift it, like almost 30%, 40%. And for gifting purpose, it becomes very, very depreciated. So again, real estate or depreciated asset gifted into a SLAT, not appreciated, depreciated. Number four, charitable planning. After you have done this four, if your state is more than, I would say, 30 million, you have to pay state taxes some sort of anyway. And if you're charity minded, any money more than 27 million can go to this charitable lead trust. And charitable lead trust, you can schedule in such a way that after 20 years, the money all goes to charity. But if you invest properly, the appreciation will happen. The money goes back to your children, estate tax free. You can do the charitable lead trust while you're alive, or you can do it after you die. Number five, you can also buy second to die life insurance policy also, that can pay for the state taxes that is due. If you have done that, after that, still your state taxes due, take a look into your house. If it's expensive, QPRT, move it to your state. Still you have a lot of state, then obviously talk to your CPA that does IDGT make sense or not, which is like some audit risk is there. So again, I try to narrow it down for the audience from the lowest to the top. Hopefully this is a good list. They can take a picture, talk to the CPA, which one makes sense before the law change.
Okay, how much does it cost and how can you help us?
Yeah, so every time we talk about a trust, a very simple, every time I say the word trust is $4,000. All right, so revocable trust, $35 to $4,000, $100 to $4,000. This SLAT, around $4,000 per SLAT. Charitable, $4,000 to $5,000 ballpark to set it up. Life insurance trust, $2,500 to $4,000 ballpark. QPRT, another $4,000 to $5,000. AJIT is a little expensive because of the schedule and everything. That costs about $6,000 to $7,000. So again, the more complications you add, the more expensive it becomes. And the way we can help, this is something that, if you remember, Dr. Samadar, at the very beginning, one thing people like about us, we're not in sales. We are a fiduciary advisor, but this is one thing I recommend to all audience. Try not to do all of this by yourself. And you can go to the lawyer directly, that's fine, but make sure you involve your financial planner in it, because a lot of moving parts. You can go to a lawyer and they can just do all of this and give you tremendous amount of bill. You need to have a one middle person who can do it everything for you. So those people who have a financial advisor, make sure you're involved, a good CPA involved. And usually a good financial advisor like us, they have a team. Like in our team, we have CPA in-house, we have actuary in-house, we have lawyers in-house who can take care of all of it, like your life insurance, estate planning, asset protection need under one roof very efficiently. So this is how we can help, but any good financial advisor should have a team of experts. Make sure that you use your financial advisor to take care of this for you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Syed. And there are some questions that were asked, and we'll go ahead and ask those questions. The first one was by Dr. Palovoy. Can you elaborate on captive insurance and how it can reduce your taxes?
Yeah, so we're not comfortable with captive insurance because again, the high audit risk. So again, that there's a good debt benefit comes in and the money becomes tax deductible as well. But audience can Google it and you will see captive insurance, high audit risk. We're not comfortable with it whatsoever.
Okay, can 401k money be put in a trust? And if so, what are the tax implications?
Yeah, the 401k money, you just put the beneficiary as the trust. You don't put it in the trust as the owner. So one option could be after you pass away, do you put the trust as a beneficiary? Secondary, primary should be the spouse. So you don't have the ownership of the 401k. You just have the beneficiary listed as the trust.
Okay, 6 million, does it include home and other assets or only liquid cash?
6 million per person, it liquidates everything, house, jewelries, whatever you can name it, every single dollar.
Okay. Does retirement money, IRA, 401k, deferred plans included in total assets for lifetime exemption?
It does. Every single dollar, penny included in it. Unfortunately, yeah. So that's why a lot of physicians have huge retirement account. They're part of your state as well. So again, if your net worth is substantial, think about start gifting some assets.
Okay, the last question is this session being recorded? The answer is yes. And we'll be sending it out to all the members. So people who couldn't join today can review it. So I think that's all for questions today, Mr. Nishat. And we thank you for such a wonderful presentation. Mr. Syed will be present at the World Health Congress, July 18th to 22nd. And he'll be talking, he and his team will be in several sessions. So please come and join us in New York at the Marriott Marquis. Ask him all your questions, get everything answered, and he'll be there with his team, and or he's always there to help us out. So thank you once again. We wanted to thank you and your whole team for everything you did for us this whole year.
Thank you, Dr. Samadar, what you do for your audience.
you.
Really appreciate it. So
Thank you.
looking forward to seeing you in New York.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.